What's good, ladies and gentlemen? It's your boy Bullets Gotti. Back with another one. Well, this video right here, we're going to discuss Dr. Dre. I saw an interview on YouTube with Focus on Panda Chop channel. And I'm going to be honest with y'all, right? I didn't do the conversation about Dre. Maybe I did one video. I don't know if I did a video speaking about Dre. But I really wanted to touch on the Dre topic because when it comes to GOAT producers and it comes to producers that we deem, like me personally, right? I feel like Teddy Riley was, in my opinion, was the go-to producer. After Teddy, you get Eddie F, KG, Darren Lighty, Trackmasters, Puffin the Hitman, Corey Rooney and Prince Marky D, Devontae Swing, even Kels, if you want to be technical, even Kels. You know, when you look at like that whole, like that hip hop and R&B sound, you know, Teddy was like the godfather. And I always say Teddy's the GOAT. They give so much credit to Dre. And I say, what did Dre do? Like, because like Pac said it, the nigga ain't made a beat in 6 years, right? You'll hear 50 say what he say about Dre. You'll hear, you know, Busta, Rakim, Raekwon, many others talk about, you know, working with Dre and how it didn't mesh, right? You hear the Game talk about that, right? And then you look at a Kanye West, or you look at people that are real producers, and then you look at a Dre. It's like Dre, he stole other people's work and put his name in it. Put the piano keys on it, engineer it, and then he'll say it's his work, right? Now, mind you, if you look at all that Aftermath work, right, all that stuff that came out of Aftermath, that's all like the hit singles, the big records. That's Mike, you know, Elizandre, is Mike, is Focus, it's Mr. Porter, it's DJ Khaled, High Tech, Scott Storch. You know, these are the guys that really made all the great, you know, hits out of that Aftermath camp. You know, Dre will make it seem like you gotta look like Rakim didn't work with Dre. You know, Rakim was working with High Tech, Scott Storch. You know, these are the guys that he was working with. You know, Mr. Porter was over there. You know, you had Focus that was over there at the time. You know, Quick, who was doing a little work over there. You know, Battle Cat. You know, Rick Rock and Battle Cat was the guys that was doing work for Aftermath. And then you got Mailman. Let's not forget Mailman. Mailman did a lot of that great Dre stuff. Because you got to look, bro. Dre coming off, if you look at Death Row, right? A lot of that Death Row shit was Daz Dillinger, Quick, Butter, Sam Snead. Butter did California Love. You know? Sam Snead did a lot of work over there. Daz Dillinger, Quick, did a lot of work on Death Row, right? Then you fast forward to Aftermath, who did Phone Tap? The Glove. Who else was working on that album? Butter, Mailman. They did a lot of the stuff on the Firm album. And then, you know, the Firm album didn't do so well. And Aftermath Aftermath didn't do so well. I think if the Firm album would have just been just track masters, that album would have been very hot. It would have been successful. Because they put Dre on there, Dre did not. Even though the Glove and Mailman and Butter did their thing on there, you know, Dre didn't come with no real big records, except Phone Tap and a couple other joints, you know. Now, when it goes to the Chronic 2001, the backstory on that. The Chronic 2001 was basically, it was LL Cool J's album. A couple of them joints, a lot of them joints on there was for LL Cool J. The GOAT project. That he later left and didn't work with Dre, and he did it with, you know, he did it with Bimmy and them and DJ Scratch and many other producers that was on that album. But that album was supposed to originally be 2001, Explosive, Still Dre. A lot of those bangers were supposed to be LL records, right? You fast forward now, you seeing that, you know, Dre gets Jimmy Iovine, brings Eminem to Dre, and that's what saved Aftermath, you know, because he was getting ready to be dropped. Because he wasn't coming with no bangers, he wasn't coming with no hits, you know. And what Mailman was supplying on that 2001 album, and even Butter, but Mailman deserve a lot of credit. Just like a lot of the hits that was coming out of Aftermath. Mailman and Scott Storch did the damn thing for Aftermath Records. And then when they got High Tech over there, he did the damn thing, right? So when Rakim got over there, he didn't work with Dre. He worked with Mailman. He worked with, you know, Scott Storch. He worked with High Tech, right? He didn't have nothing with Dr. Dre. He said it out his own mouth. You know, if you listen to a lot of the demo joints, that was all High Tech, Scott Storch, Mailman. You know, that's who he worked with. And if you look at, like, you know, with Dre, with the Game and 50 and everybody, like, let's keep it real. High Tech, Focus, Mailman, who was still over there till, like, he left in 04. You know, and Scott Storch, and these guys was working, doing all the production, and Dre was just put his name on the hits. Dre was not only just putting his name on the hits, but Dre was also jacking it like it was his. Dre wasn't sitting in the studio with the artist. Like, one thing people could say, right? People love to say, talk smack about Puff, but Puff really lock in with his artists. Puff is really in the studio locking in. Puff is really in there, you know, seeing what type of bangers his artist is coming with. Because Puff is one of them hands-on. Dre was never hands-on with his artists. You know what I'm saying? He was never hands-on with his artists. Dre was just what he was. He was Dre, you know. And let's just keep it real, man. I just feel like Dr. Dre does not deserve all the credit he gets as a producer. I think people over-exaggerate Dre and they give him too much credit. You know, when you taking other dudes' music and saying it's yours, and then come to find out you didn't do any of the production on the records, and then you taking all the credit for it, I think that's type corny. You know what I'm saying? And I think people just, you know, they so much in a fandom that they don't want to say the truth, that Dre is the most overrated producer. And a lot of producers was calling him out back in the days. Like Jermaine Dupri called him out on that, you know, and many others, because I don't feel like Dre could get in the ring with a Jermaine Dupri or a Puff or, You know, people say, "Oh, Puff don't do that," but Puff, I look at Puff as a composer. I look at the way he's sitting there hands on in that studio. You know, like he's in there. He's not. It's not like Puff. Not like he locking in. Like you don't see videos with Dre in there when dudes is locking in to do a record. He's not hands on like that. He comes after the product is over with. And then he put a little piano on it, and then he engineered the joint, and then boom, the joint is ready to go. But he's not there when dudes is crafting the work, and you heard it from everybody. You heard it from Ray, you heard it from 50, you heard it from Buster, you heard it from Rakim. You hear it from everybody he worked with. That's why a lot of artists that was on, like, Aftermath had a lot of artists on that label, and nobody came out. Besides The Game, besides Kendrick, besides 50, nobody came out of Aftermath Records. Let's just keep it real. You know, a lot of people was on the shelf over there. Eve was on the shelf over there. You know, Raekwon was on the shelf. Joel Ortiz was on the shelf. The chick Brooklyn was on the shelf. It was so many people that was on the shelf. You know, even Death Row, the artist that he had over there, was like on the shelf. You know what I'm saying? So Dre was a guy that basically, he's somebody that he wants shit to go his way. Yo, you got to talk about what he want on his records. Talk gangster, talk whatever. You know what I'm saying? And that's the thing I don't get with Dre as a producer. You know what I'm saying? Like, he calls himself a producer, but I feel like his work ethic doesn't show great producer. That's why Pac was so frustrated with him. It's like, yo, like he was already mad with him for not showing up the Snoop case, but he was super mad with him for not locking in with him. Like, I come to Death Row over here, your work ethic is not like mine. I'm in here, you know, knocking these records out, and Dre is nowhere to be found. You know what I'm saying? And that's a fact. You hear The Game, he said, yo, Kanye did more for me. And let's keep it real. 50 and Kanye helped out The Game more than Dr. Dre. Dr. Dre and them was getting ready to drop Game. Like all the other artists that they had over there at the time. But 50 took them and said, nah, we can do this, we can. Did tremendous numbers. Yeah. Acting like he was like riding with Game when he wasn't even riding with Game, when he wanted to drop the Game. You know, so that's why I say, man, Dr. Dre is the most overrated producer there is. I don't look at him as the GOAT. I don't look at him as like the greatest. Let's keep it real. Like G-Funk, even when it comes to like G-Funk, like I always say G-Funk to me goes to the Bomb Squad, goes to Eric Sermon, goes to, you know, Larry Smith, you know, you can say X-Clan, you can say Paul C. I look at like that G-Funk saying it comes from over here, and what, you know, dudes like, I would say like Battle Cat and what Quick was able to do was give it the West Coast twang to it. But I feel like Dre didn't do nothing with G-Funk. I feel like it's a lot of cap with Dre. You know, and it's a lot of, you know, BS. And I feel like he's the most overrated producer there is. I don't care what nobody say, man. You know, but it is what it is, man. Salute. It's your boy Bullets Gotti. You already know what it is.